Hey guys, it's KOKOStern and you're watching Why You Should, the show where I try and do the impossible and tell people to do stuff online. So, last time we talked about why you should watch the show, and this time we're going to talk about one of my favorite games of all times. Definitely, I'm not a fanboy of anything because I'm a very critical person, but if I'm a fanboy of anything, it is this game, and it's called Star Control 2, also known as the Orquan Masters. This is a truly remarkable game that I really, really love, and you should definitely play in. It's Star Control 2, which means it has a little bit of history. So let's talk about that history just a little bit. Star Control, the original Star Control, was a game where you could fight ships with other ships. It came out in 1990. Yes, it's incredibly freaking old. It did pretty well, and when something does pretty well, you go ahead and make a sequel, as we know. And Star Control 2 came out in 1992. This had ships fighting each other, just the same, but it also had a campaign, and that campaign was what made this game so great. It won incredible critical acclaim, everybody freaking loved it, and when someone loves a game so much, two things happen. One, the people want more, and two, the publisher wants more. So Accolade went on to the developers, which is a lovely company called Toys for Bob, and told them, make Star Control 3, and Toys for Bob said, sure, give us more money. See, when they were developing Star Control 2, they actually went without pay for 6 months because they ran out of money. So they asked more, especially with Star Control 2 doing so well, and Accolade said, screw that, and went on to hire Legend Entertainment to make Star Control 3, which came out in 1996. We're going to be really short about this. This game sucked, pretty much. The story couldn't live up to the original, and the combat was terrible, and so this doesn't exist as far as we are concerned. So Star Control 2 won a cult following very, very quickly. Everybody freaking loved it all across the world, and so I just want to tell you a couple of things that happen to this day and show you how much people love this game so much. If you go online and search for the best games of all time series on IGN and on GameSpot and stuff like that, and every other place pretty much, you'll find this game there in the top 10, top 20, because it truly is incredible, and it deserves the cult following that follows it to this day. So, in the game itself, there's a huge story, obviously, and tons of lore, and lots of hints to a sequel that Toys for Bob obviously wanted to make, but with all the fiasco that happened with Accolade, they never got to making it, and to this day they don't really care about it anymore. They just don't feel like doing it, even though there are actual petitions online asking them, beseeching them to make a sequel, but they don't want to. Today they're busy with making a Madagascar movie games, and right now they're working on Spyro's Adventure, what's this called? Skylander Spyro's Adventure. It's fine, but it's not Star Control, so sad face. Luckily, they're pretty nice people, and so in 2002, they released the source code. The source code for the game, and which allowed the fans to release this thing. sc2.sourceforge.net is the name of the website where you can go ahead and download a lovely game called the Orquan Masters. See, Star Control 2 is actually still trademarked and copyrighted, and they can't use it, so they use the subtitle of the game, which is the Orquan Masters, to re-release it, and you can get it for completely free. If you look up the Orquan Masters, you'll get to this site pretty quickly. And in this site, you download the game, and then you can play it. So before we actually go into the game and speak about why it's so incredible, I want to talk to you about a couple of tiny little things just to show you how this game is still running and is still alive more than 20 years after it was released. So there's this, first of all. Second, when you download this with everything original as it should, you can also download remix packs of the music. So there's a couple of guys called the Precursors, which just made music inspired by this game, and you could download it. The music is pretty cool if you're nostalgic and you feel reminiscing of the original music, so if you play this game, I recommend actually getting the original music first, and if you really like it, you could go on ahead and get the remixes. In addition to that, there's also as I said, the petitions to make a sequel, and eventually people say, okay, if you're not going to make a sequel, then we're going to make a sequel on our own. And this is the Urquan Masters Project 6014. I've actually not heard a lot about it since the demo came out in January 2012, which is a year ago. But it might still be running and still come out eventually. This is a fan-made sequel trying to put bits and pieces together and make a complete picture, and obviously add stuff on their own. Completely fan-made sequel, might come out, might be awesome in the future. We'll hope so, at least. And the last thing that we want to talk about is I'm assuming some of you are, well, you exist of the current generation, and thus you like graphics. This game came out in '92, so the graphics aren't really amazing. So if you're one of those people that, I'm not going to play it because the graphics is just not pretty enough, well, just for you, there's an HD remake, which you can also get for free, the Urquan Masters HD. You can look it up and get it. I'll actually put it down in the links below. It's in alpha, so it might explode, but it should work and everything looks nice, such as the picture that you see right now. This is HD. This is for the Project 6014, but still, it looks pretty nice. So you don't really have a reason not to play this game. Let's go into the game itself. The history lesson is over, and see why this game is. So we have the game open, and the first thing we want to show is Super Melee. Here you could choose ships and fight other ships. You can fight, obviously, human control, so it's 2 people on this 1 keyboard, which is lovely. Weak cyborg, good cyborg, or awesome cyborg. There's also some net options, and this is fun if you like the actual fighting. There are 3 things that you do in the game. That's fighting, collecting resources, and exploring the galaxy. That is in the campaign. And not everybody loves fighting, and not everybody or really is good at it, and no, not everybody loves resources. Luckily, those 2 things take a backdrop to the actual game, which is, you know, exploring the entire galaxy and meeting a ton of cool and interesting races. So we're actually going to go and start a new game right now. There's a long introduction, which I'm going to press escape, so we're going to skip that because it's really, really long, and already we start off right here in Sol. This is actually the system, your home planet. I'm going to fill you in on the details just a little bit. There was a war. The Alliance of Free Stars, which Earth is part of, was fighting the evil Urquan Masters with their hierarchy of battle thralls, and they were kind of losing. An excavation was sent to a distant planet where they found a city, an underground city, owned by the Precursors, which is a very technologically advanced race that disappeared thousands of years ago. And so, at some point, connection was severed with Earth, and they were stranded on this planet. They discovered that that city is actually a factory for creating starships, and 20 years later, they actually managed to create a starship, synthesize a little bit of fuel, and you are the captain of that starship. You're going to Earth, and you need to find out what the hell happened. So, if I recall my high school astronomy class, I guess the Earth is the 3rd planet from the Sun, so we're going to go to the 3rd planet from the Sun and see what's up. And when we get there, a drone will fly to us. It's going to be the evil Urquan. We're going to skip this, and as you can see, I can go left and right, and just in the actual dialogue, now press shift in order to finish it. And it's enter and shift. Enter is forward, shift is like escape that you're using, and left and right will move through the speech that he's actually talking. We're going to skip this. He says, "You wait here, you're an unidentified vessel, blah, 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 blah," whatever. And we're going to go to the starbase and just check out a little bit of the story and see what's up. We're going to run you. I'm going to run you through pretty quickly because we. I don't want to delay longer. And when you play it, you'll actually see it for yourself.
Attention, unidentified space vessel.
Yes.
I am Starbase Commander Hayes of the Slave Planet Earth.
Slave Planet Earth.
Broadcast.
So the first thing that you realize is you lost the war. You're now a slave planet. That kinda sucks. And he tells you that he basically can't identify you, and he doesn't have energy, and you have to help him out. So, no, this is the Starship Vindicator. By the way, you can change the name. But we stand ready to assist you, and he's telling us that he needs radioactive materials. Where can I find the radioactive elements? Fastest way in the system
would be to land on Mercury.
Land on Mercury. So we will leave now to find the elements you require.
Thanks,
and
I'll
you
make
leave
sure
to
to
Mercury.
mention this time.
You leave to Mercury, you get the resources, and then you come back. And once you come back, you also have to do a couple of other things. I'm actually going to load up a game that I just did. And you come back, and after all the things is done, and then he admits you and understands and agrees with you, and you set out on a plan to recreate the Alliance of Free Stars and battle the evil Urquan and free Earth from its slavery. So this is actually a little bit afterwards, after I've already set out to the world and just want to show you the starbase. So I can talk to the starbase commander, and I can also outfit my starship, my precursor starship. There's different modules that I build up. I obviously have resources that I need to collect, like we talked about, a crew pod, storage bed, dynamo unit, all kinds of things, buy fuel. And in addition to that, there's the shipyard where I can, get more ships and deal with the crew and whatever. And this is basically your home base. Now, this is the Ilrath space. This is the star map that I want to talk about a little bit. I have 7 fuel right now, which will allow me to get all the way here. Okay, I pressed enter, and if I actually press shift right now and leave the menu, it will automatically go into autopilot. Actually, you can see autopilot, and it will just go there. So that's a possibility of you doing. Obviously, I have 7 fuel, and that's the edge, so if I want to be able to come back to where I am, I have to go only to the middle of the circle that I can actually get to. And it looks kind of daunting, but with time it will fill up with things such as the Ilrath space. Ilrath is one of the races which I've encountered in this playthrough once and defeated them. It's the first battle you actually get in the game. You'll do that on your own. It starts filling up and you start understanding the place and exploring this star map. As you can see, there are coordinates at the top which move up all the way from 0, 0 at the bottom left to the top right where it's 99999. And in addition to that, there are names to pretty much each system. There's Alpha Cansari, Gamma Cansari, and there's all kinds of other fancy names such as Alpha Vulpeculae and Z-Man right there. And an important note is if you press dot, which is the key on your keyboard left of shift, you can actually write anything and it'll jump you to it, which is very, very useful. Why is it very useful? Well, one of the things about this game that makes it so unique is the fact that it's really old, and so you don't really have a quest log. See, the guy, as an example, and before I loaded up the game, he sent me on a quest, if you will, to go to Mercury, get resources, and come back and power the station. There's no quest log, though, and obviously once you start exploring the map and talking to the different races, you're going to get a lot of quests, a lot of things you need to remember and do, and there's no quest log. So what do you do with that? You have to remember everything, and since I don't have the best memory in the world, this is one of the only games that actually makes you feel like a real ship captain, for the very simple reason that you use these things. Well, at least I use these things when I was younger, and every time I play this game, which is every couple of years when I forget everything, I just write down things. So if they tell me our homeworld is at this and this coordinates, I write down the coordinates, dash, whatever race, homeworld. And we need this thing, this device does that thing. Important information, you write it down. I'm guessing you won't be using notepads, well, notes like this. You'll be using the actual notepad in your computer because it's a lot more comfortable, and as you can see, you can play the game on windowed mode and it's pretty comfortable. You don't really have to full screen it. So use the notepad and write stuff, but in a way it's a hindrance, but in another way it's pretty special and pretty unique, doing things in such a ruggish manner, actually needing to write down what's being said. And there's a ton of things being said. You will miss out on things, and you need to retain that information, because if something is being said to you, that might be the last time you'll hear it. You can't replay it, there's no log or anything like that, so make sure you write stuff. And it's one of the things that makes you feel really incredible. As I've said, you can actually collect resources, and that's a mini game, and you can go ahead and try it out. It's kind of fun. Some people don't like it, and you also get to fight a lot in the game. It's not a ton. It's not with all the ships, and it's not incredibly difficult, especially where you can go to game settings and put a cyborg for your own playing, so that you won't have to actually play it, it'll play out on its own. And you can also set the cyborg, the difficulty of who you're playing against, to be very, very simple or very, very awesome. So it's still weak, good, and awesome cyborg that plays against you. So you don't actually have to fight if you don't like it, and you don't really do it that often. whatever the case, you can always save. This is something really important. Save and load. You can save and load at any time and load it up immediately. And before you do anything such as the resources and the fights, just make sure you save, and if something bad happens or you're not too pleased with the outcome, or you're a perfectionist like me that doesn't want to lose even one crew member, then you could just load and redo it. But that's not the main part of the game. The main part of the game is exploring and meeting all of the different races. Remember that there's more than 25 ships. There's more than 25 races for you to encounter and talk to, each one of them with their own unique soundtrack. Well, it's basically one song. The music, they're both their look, their speech, their history, their personality, their affiliation towards you. Some of them are old enemies, some of them are old allies, some of them you can turn, and how you interact with them, the choices that you make, the things that you need to do, the devices that you get and need to use in certain ways. And there's so much to explore here. There's so much lore, and this game is truly... The universe that is built here is truly incredible, and this is the main reason why you should play this game. So many races to encounter, so beautiful. There's really great script, great story, so much to discover, and I truly recommend this game from that perspective of how great that is. And when you set out, after this initial start, you can set out to the star map, and you're basically free. You can do whatever the hell you want. But you need to watch out, because time moves on, and first thing you want to do, and really this is the first thing that you want to do, is collect some resources and upgrade your ship a little bit. The really first thing that you have to upgrade is definitely, I actually want to show it to you. Well, this is Earth, so we're going to navigate again and going to turn around real slowly. The two first things that you want to check out, that you want to upgrade, is your speed and your turning ability. So in the shipyard, excuse me, not in the shipyard, outfit starship, you're going to go to module and to these areas where you put turning jets, and here antimatter thrusters. These are the first things that you want to upgrade so you can move faster. It's really one of the problems with the game, that you move really, really slowly at the start. And you want to upgrade your ship, you want to get resources, you want to get more ships. Right now we can only create the normal basic human ship, but as you get more races to be your allies, you can also create other ships of the other races. Each race obviously has a ship of its own with its different fighting abilities and whatnot. And you get to upgrade that, you get to get your resources, and you can devote as much time as you want to collecting resources and to finding different races and talking to them and trying to get them, converse with them and whatever the hell they want, and progress the story. So it's really up to you, but you can't, but time moves on, time passes, and there are events that will happen with time that some of them you can't avoid. You can reach a point of no return, and you might even not know it at some cases. That's why you should save a lot, because you just waited too long and you just didn't do anything. There's no real huge pressure, but just don't exaggerate with how much you collect resources. Go ahead and do stuff that are useful and find different alien races and do what people ask of you, not just collect resources. And make sure you use Notepad or write some stuff down. Obviously, if you get stuck, there's always the internet, but I recommend playing this game on your own. And there's truly so much to do here. I really recommend this game. It's just an incredible experience. It's still one of the best games ever, one of the most unique experiences you can have to this day, because there's no real way to replicate it. And that's about it. I believe I have nothing further to tell you. Go play this game. It's free. It shouldn't take you too long. If I know everything, you could probably finish it in a couple of hours. If you don't, it could take over 10, which is cool, excuse me. And that's it. My name is KOKOStern. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you play this game, and leave some comments and tell me what you think, and subscribe if you liked it, and I will see you next time. See ya. I'm going to play a bit.